Can you imagine a bill that increases in value by itself? In just a few months, you could have the down payment for a new house without any effort. It sounds like a stretch, but it's true. But why were they produced? It's 1861, and the Civil War is draining the Union's treasury. How could the government persuade its citizens to willingly invest their hard-earned gold in the uncertain future of the war? Congress came up with a brilliant solution: interest-bearing notes. Picture this, the very first $1,000 note ever issued by the U.S., a piece of history in your hands. On its face, the dignified portrait of President George Washington. At the center of the note, a beautifully crafted vignette of America, personified as a regal woman. And to its right, the majestic Treasury building. The note promised, the United States promised to pay 2 years after date, to the order of, the holder's name would be written by hand, $1,000, with interest at 6% payable January 1st and July 1st. What did this mean? Every 6 months, holders received a golden payout, like clockwork. Above, a declaration, issued in pursuance of an act of Congress approved March 2, 1861. And just below, a date, carefully written, with serial numbers flanking the vignette of America like sentinels. And as a mark of authenticity, the hand signatures of the era's financial stewards, Register Lucius Chittenden and Treasurer Francis Spinner or their representatives. On the right, it stated receivable in payment of all public dues, and on the left, convertible into bonds of the United States. Turn the note over, and you're greeted with a burst of vibrant orange ink. It boldly declares United States of America and pay to bearer, surrounded by a sea of 1000s and the Roman numeral M, also representing the number 1000. Today, not a single original note of this kind is known to exist. But a lone proof, a whisper of history, was auctioned for a staggering $41,000 in 2018, which is almost $50,000 in today's money. Through the Act of July 17, 1861, Congress introduced notes that accrued interest for 3 years at a rate of 7.3%. They were quickly nicknamed 730 notes. These bills surprised the public with the face on these notes. It was none other than the sitting Secretary of the Treasury, Salmon Chase, immortalized in ink while still in office. At the top, a bold statement, interest 20 cents per day. That's an impressive $7 in interest per day in today's money. And at the bottom, a tempting offer, convertible into 20-year 6% U.S. bonds. Depending on their issue date, you could find these notes dated either August 19 or October 1, 1861. The August notes featured red serial numbers, while the October ones had either red or blue serials. Just below Chase's portrait, a reminder of its origin, Act of July 17, 1861. And on the right, a detailed explanation, 5 coupons attached. Last 6 months interest $36.50 payable with note. Prior installments payable only on presentation of coupon therefore. That's almost $1,300 every 6 months in today's dollars. What did this really mean? 5 individual coupons, each a promise of timely interest. Every 6 months, you'd detach a coupon and claim your interest. And when the time came, you present the note itself to claim both the final interest and the original amount, totaling $1,219, or a whopping $42,000 today. As with their predecessors, these notes bore the trusted signatures of Register Chittenden and Treasurer Spinner or their representatives. Turn the note over, and you're met with a sea of rich green, proclaiming United States of America and pay to bearer. The promise? Interest on this note 20 cents per day. All of this surrounded by a mesmerizing design, weaving in the value of 1,000. Only one proof remains of the August 19, 1861 issue. A lone testament to a bygone era, this singular piece stands as a rare beacon of America's financial history. With the Act of March 3, 1863, Congress authorized the issuance of 1-year and 2-year notes that accrued interest at 5%. The 1-year notes featured an eagle with a shield and the motto "In God is our trust" at its center. To its left, a vignette of a woman representing justice, and to its right, a woman representing America with a flag and the motto "E pluribus unum." The new obligation for the 1-year note read, 1 year from date, the United States will pay the bearer $1,000 with interest at 5% per annum. The top border indicated that it was legal tender for $1,000. The bottom border identified it as a treasury note, and right above it, the Act of March 3, 1863, was printed. The note's date was recorded as October 1, 1863. Serial numbers would have been printed on the top right and lower left corners. Additionally, the signatures of Register Chittenden and Treasurer Spinner would also have been included. The 2-year issue showcased the ship's Guerriere and Constitution on its left, and Spanish conquistador Hernando de Soto with Native Americans offering a peace pipe on its right. There was a slight change to the obligation. 2 years after date, the United States will pay the bearer $1,000 with interest at 5% per annum. This note, however, included the printed signatures of Register Chittenden and Treasurer Spinner, ending the practice of hand-signing the notes. Unfortunately, there are no known examples of the backs of either note. There is a single known proof of the 1-year issue which sold for almost $98,000 back in 2012, which is about $129,000 in today's money. In its ongoing efforts to fund the war, Congress passed the Act of June 30, 1864, authorizing an additional issuance of notes accruing interest at 7.3% for 3 years. Sadly, no examples of the $1,000 denomination from this series exist today. However, these would have been dated either August 15, 1864, or March 3, 1865. Finally, the Act of March 3, 1865, approved notes bearing 7.3% interest for 3 years. These featured the image of Justice herself, seated and majestic. And in a new twist, the Treasury seal was added in red. The new promise read, 3 years after date, the United States promised to pay to the order of, adding the holder's name, $1,000 with interest at 7 3/10% payable semi-annually in lawful money. This issue included coupons again to redeem interest every 6 months. Also, 2 different dates were available, June 15 or July 15, 1865. The printed signatures of Register Stoddard Colby and Treasurer Spinner were included. On the note's green back, pay to bearer was printed with a text explaining the options the holder had at maturity, convertible at the option of the holder into bonds redeemable at the pleasure of the government at any time after 5 years, and payable 20 years from June 15, 1868, with interest at 6% per annum payable semi-annually in coin. This text could also be found with July 15, 1868, as its date. Today, only 2 of these notes from June 15 have survived the test of time. As the final echoes of cannon fire faded in 1865 and the dust settled on the battlefields, a new reality emerged. The nation's finances had been stretched to their limits, but one beacon shone brightly, unwavering, and resolute, the unyielding spirit of the Union. Would you have invested in one of these notes if you had the chance? Let us know in the comments below. Stay curious.